What?
What?
What? What?
Now this is how you properly play Jumanji. That cameraman deserves an Oscar though. This is better than National Geographic. Yo, what up my good people, and welcome back for a brand new episode. Alright, in this episode, we're gonna kick back and watch some TikToks that just might make you rethink reality. Now, fair warning, some of these TikToks might have you sitting back in your chair like, no way, oh man, what in the...
Well, this didn't go to plan at all. World's first unaliving pod was used in Switzerland, and the woman inside it was basically unalived by the owner. So in Switzerland, of course, you have something called assisted dying, where if you're ill and you just want to go, you basically can. This pod was designed by a company called Last Resort as your last resort. Basically, it was promised to be a completely painless and very, very quick unalive. You would be put inside this pod, press a button, and it would basically fill up and you'd be gone and wouldn't feel a thing. The woman who tested it was found with strangle marks all over her neck. So this lady, who was the first person to use it, was taken to the woods where this pod was basically located. A location with no one there apart from the founder of the company, apparently. Dr. Florian Willett, who is the president of the company and was the only person who was there when this took place, originally afterwards said that her death was very, very quick, peaceful, she didn't feel a thing, until, as I say, they then discovered strangle marks all around the poor woman's neck. Is in police custody as we speak, and an investigation is taking place, although we don't fully know all the story, so I'll keep you posted.
Man, this death pod is just wrong in my opinion. Who in the world invented this thing? The Grim Reaper?
All right, I watched the entire 2-hour Congressional UFO hearing, so you don't have to. I'm going to break down everything that happened. It started off with a bang, as two of the witnesses decided to do the Pledge of Allegiance instead of raising their right hand. I mean, he's even laughing about it. First up on the mic was Tim Gallaudet, and I have so many problems with what this man said, I don't even know where to start. He told the story about how he's missing emails from a UFO incident, but he doesn't realize that nobody cares. We don't want to hear about Microsoft Outlook, okay? We want pictures and videos of alien spacecraft to respectfully get off the stand. He also claimed that the best evidence of a USO that we have was from sonar data from the 1980s. Like, what are we doing here? Then we had the pleasure to listen to Lou, I can't disclose that, Elizondo. Look, Lou, I like you, man, so I'm not going to go too hard here, but the reality is that we need more evidence from you, bro. I get it. You signed a document saying you can't talk about the crash retrieval program, so bring something else. He also casually said that the U.S. has alien bodies, but unfortunately, we'll probably never know if this is true or not because it happened before his lifetime. Then came Mr. Schellenberger, who accused the government of hiding critical UFO evidence, as if none of us have ever done that. A big nothing burger from this guy. When they asked him what he thinks these UFOs are, he's like, I don't know, which I actually respect. And then finally, we had NASA hype man Michael Gold. I honestly do not know why this guy was even there. He publicly stated that he thinks that these UFOs are either experimental aircraft or drones. Like, what? In conclusion, when all four of them were asked what they think UAP are, here's what each one said. Strong evidence they are non-human. Yeah, what he said, we don't know. We don't know, but we need to find out.
Let me get this straight. So basically just a whole bunch of nothing. Like, what was that even for? Give us the evidence, damn it.
Crazy things I've seen on the internet today. Megan Fox is pregnant with Handgun Karen's baby, and can somebody get this girl a bottle of Dawn? What the is going on here? Also, they are never fighting the demonic allegations. Like, why would this be your pregnancy announcement? This was not on my 2024 bingo card. The Wicked dolls that came out for the Wicked movie, they literally misprinted the website on the box and sent everybody to a corn website. Went to Wicked Pictures, an adult entertainment company. I just know that nobody takes their job seriously anymore, because how do these big companies have these like oversight departments where I know somebody typed that in? I know somebody did wicked.com and that came up and they were just like, who gives a shit? Let the kids see it. People magazine has released their sexiest man alive issue. And if anybody from another country needs me to sum up the United States experience for you, this is it. An ambulance will hit you while you're riding on a bike, and they will charge you for the ambulance ride to the hospital.
How did the man get charged for riding in an ambulance when they're the reason that he's riding in it? What in the world, bro? Man, that hospital should feel ashamed of themselves.
If you have been starting to see a side of your friends and family that you have never seen before, or that you have been actively suppressing the reality of, this message is for you. We have just collapsed timelines into a parallel universe. Allegedly, of course. And we as a consciousness have shifted into a higher reality. Many of us are getting downloads, upgrades. We're tuning into our spiritual and psychic abilities more so now than ever. And with a lot of us light workers raising our vibration, we're starting to see the truth behind who the people in our life are. Now, this truth has always been there. We've just been blinding ourselves, or we've been blinded. The problem is that once these people that are on such a low vibration start to feel the upgrades in your energy, they go ballistic. They don't even consciously know why. But one thing that they do know for sure is that your energy is triggering them, and that is why they are acting out. Take it as a gift from the universe, from God, from Creator, that you now have the clarity and discernment that this person is not meant to be in your life.
There can be no time travel because so far, no one from the future has ever shown up and said, hi.
What that requires is that there's no time travel to the past, because the future person would then be coming to the past. We can travel into the future, however. Our understanding of that has been around since 1905, and it's Einstein's special theory of relativity. If I send you on a spaceship at speeds nearing the speed of light, and we watch you, we will see that your clock ticks more slowly than our own. And then you come back, it's the famous twin study. You send out your twin, they can come back, you aged 20 years, your twin would have aged only 10, depending on the exact speed. And so in that way, your twin went into the future. Now, you're right about the past. We don't know yet how to go into the past. There's some peculiar solutions of Einstein's equations that allow past travel, but then you can't interact with your life. You're in sort of another place. Because imagine if you could interact with your own life. Prevent your parents from meeting. Then you would never conceive. Then you could have never been sent back in time to prevent your parents from meeting.
Yeah, my ex-girlfriend was really good at traveling to the past every time we used to get in an argument. But man, without a flux capacitor, ain't nobody time traveling anytime soon. Marty, we have to get back to 1985.
So if you didn't know, Redbox went out of business, and you can literally just take these machines home. There's an entire community around snagging these things up, but yeah, if you ask the business, you might be able to get it. On top of that, the payment processor doesn't work anymore apparently, so you can put your card in and it doesn't charge, and people are getting free DVDs that way. End of the day, I'm absolutely not advising from stealing from this thing. Just giving out the info because it is kind of funny. But it seems like some businesses are genuinely just giving these things away to people just to get rid of them. Let me know if you guys think it's worth adding a little Redbox machine to the home decor.
Man, I didn't even know Redbox was still a thing. I could have sworn Redbox went out of business years ago, but I guess not.
The House is suspended until the ringing of the bells.
Man, what a way to protest. I can feel the power in the room just by watching it. Got me getting hype over here.
This lady in Congress apparently was suing Starbucks because they weren't listing the ingredients on their drinks.
Oh, gosh.
And the pumpkin spice latte had the active ingredient of ammonia in it.
Oh!
Why?
They use it for food coloring.
No
To make it orange. Yeah, so...
There's gotta be a better way.
In Europe, they list the ingredients and they use, I believe, carrot or beets or something. That's like a natural food coloring. But the U.S. Starbucks was using an ingredient that included ammonia in the pumpkin spice lattes to make them orange looking.
What are we doing? Why?
Well, I wonder why everyone's dying of cancer.
Because we're drinking ammonia. And that's on purpose. That has to be on purpose.
Yeah, because it's the cheaper option.
And there's no way they just cut it out. It's the middle of fall. You know how many millions of gallons they have of that stuff probably?
Oh my gosh.
I got pumpkin spice lattes.
I actually did have that Starbucks pumpkin spice latte one time, and I admit it did taste like straight chemicals. Now some pumpkin pie on the other hand, whoo baby, I can get down with that.
Have you guys heard about Omar Odavi? This is him on this chair. Scientists are trying to study
his blood type and the metal content in his blood, because for whatever reason he attracts sea life. They don't know if it's mercury, because he does have a high mercury count in his blood, but whenever he gets close to the ocean, animals are automatically attracted to him. They don't know if it's the magnetic field, they don't know what it is, but you can see here they were trying to do a control group study where there was another guy that went on the beach in this chair and nothing came, and he sits and all these sharks come, and you can see that there's some stingrays in there. It's quite incredible. I wish that, part of me wishes that I had this ability, but it does come with its downside. He has really poor circulation to his hands and his feet, so he constantly has to have them warmed and have heat pads on them. And Everest is out of the question because they would freeze off right away. But quite cool.
Yeah, this is exactly how I am with mosquitoes. But what if the dude just had a fish in his pocket the whole time?
You ready to have your mind blown? This is the evolution of Lindsay Lohan from 2000 to 2024, and I want you to pay attention closely to what happens in 2008, as you'll see in just a second, and make sure to stay around for the end, because 2024 will blow your mind more than anything. Wait till you see what she looks like now. You ready for this? What happened here? Who's this fella? And then what happens afterwards? She looks normal. And the next year. And the next year. Lots of trouble, arrests, don't know what's going on here. But it's almost like P. Diddy ruined her life for the next 5 years, right? And then she starts to come back, starts to look normal, starts to age normal. At this point, may or may not have been able to be swapped out because this looks like a completely different person, but maybe she's aging, maybe. But wait till you see 2024. Because this is just, how are suddenly people just aging in reverse? Look, she's looking almost 40, right? And, here we go, 2023. And wait till you see this now, 2024. Suddenly she's 18 years old again. How is this possible?
Yeah, you can't forget about Shania Twain and Christina Aguilera. And what about Madonna? She's like 70.
What I'm saying is I don't believe the history we've been taught. Here's a good example. Have you ever heard about Lewis and Clark going across the Mississippi? In 1803, there was nothing there supposedly back in those days. Okay, so now think about that. So we're talking about like 200 years ago. There was nothing west of the Mississippi as far as the America was concerned. Now talk about when these cities were founded and became cities like we know today. And explain to me how that makes even a lick of sense. Like, so how did Chicago go from like literally like a tent city in 1840 to Chicago like we know it by 1860? You think about all the central planning that would have took. Then you go like to places like San Francisco. San Francisco like had 1,000 people in like 1840. And then there's a panoramic shot very famously that shows the whole city in 1873. And it's a full-grown city. There ain't one bit of construction happening right there, but the whole city is fully grown. San Francisco was supposedly discovered in 1776. So this is around the time what it would have got its name. Well, here's the interesting thing. There's old maps that are 200 years older than that actually either have S. Francisco on it in that same area, or they straight up say San Francisco. Where Chicago is at, there's old maps from like the 1500s that say Shalaga.
Man, if he thinks this is wild, just wait till he sees what Dubai looked like 20 years ago.
Thing we teach women about the armpit, and actually would work for men too, is that you should have a pit, not a puff. If it's a puff, like look in the mirror, and if your armpit is a puff, then that's stagnant lymph. It means that you're not pulling the toxins for women that are coming out of her breasts are not getting out. Toxins that are coming out from the head down into the thoracic area is not getting out because it's congested.
So if your underarm is puffy and not like a pit,
yeah,
then you might be storing some of those toxins.
That's right. You're not moving. So the lymph is always carrying toxins out of organs. So the liver has a lymph pathway, the gut has lymph nodes in there that are going to pull all the toxins that are in there and move them out of you. So we need to keep these lymph pathways open.
It actually happened. Oh my God. Aliens are from our oceans, confirmed today in the Oversight Committee hearing, a live stream that was broadcasted all over the world. The 4 witnesses, which included a retired Navy commander, a rear admiral, confirmed to the Oversight Committee of Congress, hey, they are real. We have UAP materials and bioorganic materials, not just us. Every other country behind closed doors is doing a secret advanced arm race trying to reverse engineer all the technology that they found. They said they're from our oceans. We have 4K video evidence of them appearing from the ocean out of Kuwait, out of Africa, the East Coast, the West Coast, Mexico. Every continent on this planet has UAP video evidence all leaving our oceans. They say it's not human, it is an intelligent, artificial, or bioorganic, but it's some type of intelligence that is eons ahead of us humans, and they've been here longer than us. What the hell is going on?
E.T. phone home. What can I say? I am not surprised.
It's like it's about to be 2020 all over again. And while everybody is focused on the election, focused on internet drama, you need to be focused on your health. We are in the middle of a pneumonia outbreak, and doctors are saying that it may be worse than COVID. So what I'm hearing is this pneumonia is caused by a bacteria called Mycoplasma pneumonia. And the reason that they're calling it walking pneumonia is because a lot of people have it and they won't even know. They'll be walking around with a dry cough with little to no symptoms, and they have it. Sometimes you might have a fever, sometimes you might feel a little fatigue, but these are signs that you need to check out. And what doctors are saying is, if you have a fever, if you have a cough that you have for more than 3 to 5 days, you need to go see a physician. I just saw a video where a parent said her kid had a fever of 104 degrees. That's dangerous. And none of this information is to scare you, to have you walking around fearful. This information is to let you know that at the times we're in, you got to pay attention.
I had pneumonia one time back when I was a teenager. No joke. It lasted for like 5 weeks. I felt like I was dying.
Our consciousness and our very existence is so vast, infinite you may say, that it's harder to access some parts of it because of our body's limitations. So you would need a substance to help you ride like a train to that specific destination, right? So let's say we're on 42nd Street, we need to get to Canal Street. We need to take the A train to get there. The same thing with our consciousness. If you want to access certain interdimensional beings or whatever, you have to take the substance, and that substance will then build this train that you can ride to that specific part of your consciousness that already exists. And when you get to that destination, now you're there. You can access information that wasn't available to you in your waking state. And then you take that back and you do it again. Now, psychonauts, the thing about them is that they're trained to go to those specific parts of that consciousness when they're tripping or they're taking any types of psychedelics. Us, we're not that experienced. Even though you've taken shrooms 8 times, we're still babies compared to people who've done this shit like hundreds of times. So these people, they can take the shrooms and be like, I want to go to this part of my consciousness to speak to this being I've seen before, which is basically you, but you now created like a pathway, a neural pathway, a mental map to get there.
Exactly.
Us, if we take it, whatever is pulling us, we get pulled by it.
Yeah, I've never tried shrooms, so I can't tell you if this is accurate or not, but definitely sounds wicked.
Do you remember the pink battery bunny in your timeline? Yeah, it was pink, it had a battery in it, and it ran forever. Yes. Who was it? Was it Energizer or was it Duracell? Actually, in this timeline, it is both. Yes, both. Yes, Duracell has a pink bunny with a battery in it, and so does Energizer. I don't know about you, but in my timeline, the commercials were the Energizer battery bunny. It was pink, and it had a drum. But Duracell has it, and get this, Duracell's was actually first. Duracell had one in 1973, and the Energizer bunny didn't come on the scene until 1988. But I don't remember the Duracell battery bunny at all. Where did it come from? And it actually looks kind of generic, but it was first, and they do exist. Look it up. I don't know about you, but I know that there were not 2 pink battery bunnies running around when I needed Christmas batteries for my remote control cars and stuff like that. I just don't remember, but apparently in this timeline, there are 2 of them. Do you remember the Energizer one? Do you remember the Duracell? And did you ever see any commercials?
Damn, y'all. I feel so bad for her now, bruh. She lost everything she had, all because of this one person. This is what happens when you in the industry and you start talking out against people that's doing some weird shit. They try to silence you, and that's just what they did to her. If y'all can recall, you remember that episode when Wendy Williams exposed Diddy? when she showed the pictures of him allegedly doing something with another man? That same week, she was supposed to do a show, or she was supposed to talk on the radio, and Diddy made that call like, you better not have her up there. And then that's when everything went downhill from then. When I say downhill, I'm talking downhill, bruh. Like fast. Like all these things was just piling up. I'm talking about her health, her show was declining. Like she was declining in general. She knew too much, bruh. They was trying to get her up out of there. Bruh, in 2023, she was diagnosed with aphasia. And if you look it up, it's certain ways you can get that disease. And one of them being a head injury. And if y'all remember, they wanted to silence her. And one of the effects with aphasia is that you have like brain problems where you can't really talk that much. You can't really think. And if they're trying to silence her and she got that, yeah, she's cooked.
Man, Wendy Williams ain't been the same ever since she ate that crow.
So the conspiracy theory is that Disney created the movie Frozen as a distraction from the rumor that Walt Disney was cryogenically frozen. So now if you Google Disney Frozen, the movie pops up, not things about Walt Disney being cryogenically frozen.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
So I'm like, that's amazing. And I honestly think it's true.
I mean, think about Frozen. Has anyone wanted to hear that story? Okay.
No one was
They're pushing
asking for
Frozen,
that.
Okay.
They've pushed Frozen harder than any other Disney movie.
Won Oscars.
And there was a dark truth behind it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're learning today.
I don't think they created the whole movie because of this. However, I'm sure it did heavily influence the choice of the title, but who knows, that might be true.
There's an ice wall around our three-dimensional world called Earth that lays on a two-dimensional plane, right? There's an ice wall. This ice wall is connected to other so-called Earths, where dinosaurs live, boom, boom. But we're trapped in the center on this planet in an ice wall. This is why, if you fly from anywhere on Earth to Australia, to Antarctica, why do you always have to fly to England? To make it seem like the world is round, you had to travel that far.
You have no idea. Do you know what this statue is? Do you know who this is? If you believe you know, write it in the comments below, but I warn you, some of you, when you find out who this is, won't be able to accept it. Pause the video, comment below, then come back. You had time. Some people put Baal. Some people put Zeus. Most people probably put the devil. But let me ask you a question. Is there anywhere, I challenge someone to go find somewhere in the Bible where the devil is described as a humanoid being with two horns on his head with red skin. You won't find it because many of you have been misled. You see, we live in a backwards world where left is right and right is left. In the Old Testament, there is no one Satan. And the Son of God who has that title is Yahweh's servant. Why has no one taught you this? Why aren't they teaching you this in church? It's because these beings are even more real than they would like you to believe. The statue behind me is the concept art for a statue of Yahweh. That's right, the God of the Bible. But many of you are thinking, didn't Yahweh say don't build any statues of him? Something like that, but not for the reasons you think. You see, all the gods are real, and there's a way to track them throughout time and history. This is called abstract history.
Yeah, this is AI, but at first I was thinking it was real. I was about to say, what?
People of color have to stand together because the people of color, Diddy, Jay-Z, wait for Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg gonna go down, okay? I said it at the Olympics. They gave him that. Now they're gonna pull the rug out right from under him and slap his face straight into the cement. perhaps put cement boots on that boy and, you know, do what they do with that. Yes, Snoop Dogg. I'm saying that.
Man, Tupac was trying to warn the world about Snoop Dogg like 25 years ago.
So somebody want to explain to me how in the hell these buildings getting that rock? Now they gonna say, oh, they carved them in there. They carved them in there. What the technology that they use to carve that shit in there if they carved it in there? Because I'm pretty sure the power drill wasn't invented back then, dog. 1,000% sure it wasn't. And yet, you got these motherfucking buildings and this motherfucking rock. Huh? Explain to me that shit, dog. And how the hell did these get burnt and melted like that? Same shit, carved into the motherfucking rock. Or is it carved into the rock, or is a castle or a mansion or some shit? What did it to the rock to get the shit melted like that? Huh? Explain to me that shit. And how they even build the motherfucker anyway? How, dog? Because like I said in the other motherfucker, they didn't have no power drills back then to even attempt to do some shit like this. What did they use to do that? And how the f did the shit melt, dog? How? Explain. And how the f they got a whole village on top of a motherfucking petrified tree stump? That is a petrified tree stump, dog, with a whole village on top of that. How, dog? How they do that? How the f they do that, dog? I needs to know now, dog. And look at this shit. More shit carved on top of another petrified tree stump. That motherfucker petrified. How they do that shit? How they do that shit, dog? Huh?
If it isn't obvious by now, it should be. The history we were all taught back in school is far from the truth. There's way too much evidence that there once was a civilization before us that were far more advanced, but something happened and took them all out.
So I walked to my car to get it started, warmed up, whatever, and I look down on the ground and I see a leaf. And I'm like, oh, that's such a pretty leaf. Because it was like right here, surrounded by like a bunch of dead leaves. But then I look at it, it's plastic. It's not a real leaf. Is the universe playing little games with me? Because what the f?
This picture honestly makes me so sad. How Hot Wheels details have changed over the years. This is a 1997 one. You can see like all of the engine details. And my brother used to collect Hot Wheels, so this is like super emotional. Like he used to have so many rare old Hot Wheels. So this one's 1997. This one's 2012. And the top one is 2016. Yeah. Take me back in time, because why is this making me emotional? Like, why is this even kind of reminding me of this year in general, 2024, and how things are only getting more artificial? AI, artificial intelligence. Y'all don't get me started. And this makes me so sad because I think my brother had this exact one. Like, he had so many different rare Hot Wheels, and like I said, they all had like the little details at the bottom. The old school Hot Wheels, and I think they were actual like miniature models. They're supposed to be like models of cars, so they were made out of actual real metal, real material. Now they're plastic.
Man, it's not just Hot Wheels. Nothing today is built to last like it used to be. Nowadays, so much stuff is made out of this cheap plastic crap, and yet the prices just keep going up.
You can manifest absolutely anything that you want in this life, but you've got to deeply, deeply imagine it, and not just imagine it from the outside looking in. You have to imagine you are there. You have to feel the feeling of where you are, smell the smells, listen to the sounds. You have got to trick your mind and body into believing it is real. It will put an imprint on the universe and it will pull you towards it.
Yeah, I don't know if manifestation is a real thing or not, but one thing I know for sure is you have to put that work in and be persistent. Otherwise, you're probably not going to get whatever it is you're trying to manifest.
A long-standing conspiracy theory claims that Stevie Wonder, the legendary musician blind since infancy, can actually see. Proponents of this theory point to moments like him seemingly catching a falling microphone during a performance or attending basketball games courtside. Wonder has even joked about these rumors, adding fuel to the speculation. While there's no credible evidence to support the claim, the theory persists, leaving many to question whether there's more to his story than meets the eye, or if it's all just a misunderstanding amplified by his playful personality.
ADHD means attention dialed into higher dimensions. Someone just told me this on my live and I love it. And I will say that my ADHD, which is just a label by the way, is a big reason for my awareness, my spiritual awareness. What started my awakening was I kept seeing repeating numbers, synchronicity, and my ADHD, my hyperactive mind, was able to pick up on a lot more detail that was happening around me. I was able to pick up on that I was creating the things happening in my life. That's what synchronicity means. You're becoming aware that the things happening you have put into action. And at the time when I first started seeing repeating numbers, I didn't know that. I just knew it was trying to tell me something. So ADHD is attention dialed into higher dimensions. You're literally picking up on a higher dimension. Because when you are experiencing synchronicity, you're not in tune with time in a physical way. Time is an illusion. So deja vu and synchronicity have to do with being present. And when you're present, that's when you pick up on those higher dimensions, those signs and symbols. Never do I pick up on signs and symbols when I am not present. Meaning if I'm stuck in what's going to happen in the future and I'm having anxiety, I will not experience synchronicity. I'm extremely grateful for the way my brain works. A lot of times it's difficult for me to do things like sit down in a classroom with a bunch of people around me because of my high energy. But it also gives me the ability to pick up on those higher dimensions. ADHD is just a sign of being highly vibrational and in tune with those higher dimensions.
I guess this is a positive way to look at ADHD. Man, I don't know if I have ADHD or not. Most days I feel like I definitely do. Yeah, I think that cat was saying, "Bless you, woman," or "Cover your mouth," one of the two. Alright, my good people, that shall be a wrap for this one. Really hope you all enjoyed this latest episode. Before you roll out though, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to let me know what you think about these TikToks down there in that comment section. Alright, take care out there, my good people, and I'll see you all in the next episode.